John Lusk of Lusk Archery Adventures. Serious testing, successful hunting. Today I'm going to be testing another model of a head that just burst onto the scene several months ago, and I tested it, and that one got the highest score of any broadhead to date, which really surprised me. It's the Annihilator Katana. That was the 100 grain. Today I'm going to be testing the 125 grain model, and this is just almost an identical broadhead, just a little bit longer to give it that extra weight. And I've already shot it through a few animals. It's performed extremely well. I've been really impressed with this broadhead, but eager to see how it tests. Oh, and I do want to add as well, in case you're not familiar with it, I have a discount code that I can offer for all Annihilator and Annihilator Katana broadheads. Lusk10 will save you 10%. I was so impressed with their heads. I reached out to them quite a while ago, and they gave me that discount code to pass on some savings to you. So hopefully that can help you out. But for the testing today, I'm going to be using my regimen for 2025. And for a detailed description of that, please check out the video I posted earlier this year called 2025 Broadhead Test Process, and it'll walk you through it. For all the shooting, I'm using Bishop Archery, arrows, and bolts. Let's zoom on in here, check out this Katana 125, and then put it to the test. So here's a good look at the 125 grain model. Love these broadheads. Man, I just can't say enough about them. But what you've got here is one piece machined out of a proprietary steel. Now, they don't want to share the details of the steel, okay, and that's their prerogative. They do have a chart in their catalog that I'll put a picture up of it that compares it in toughness, edge retention, durability, sharpness, and ease of sharpening to some other popular steels like D2, S30V, A2, and S7. And so they compare it in its qualities to see how it stacks up against those other popular specialty steels. And apparently this one does really well. Now, I don't have the means by which to test all the steel like that, but I do test the broadhead, and it's going to reveal if there's weaknesses or strengths in the steel, so we'll just have to see. I will say, in my previous test of the 200 grain and the 100 grain, the steel has proven really good. Okay, so I don't know how it compares in all those technical ways, but I can say from a testing perspective, it holds up extremely well. So again, it's just one piece machined out of steel, and you can see there's a lot going on here. So let's talk about the dimensions. The cutting diameter of the main blade is 1 inch. So you got a 1 inch cutting diameter. Then you've got 4 blades that are like 4 bleeders, okay, or like 2 bleeders all the way through, if you will. And each of those is 0.4 inches. So you got 0.4 inches, 0.4 inches, 1 inch, for a total cut of 1.8 inches in this 125 grain model. So you've got 12 cutting edges. All of them are single bevel. You've got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12. So 12 cutting edges, but they're all just single bevel and a really easy bevel to follow. So not very challenging, not as challenging as you might think to resharpen them. And for resharpening, I would use a Stay Sharp guide called The Answer. It would be perfect for this broadhead and all the different edges that you have going on there. Now, in terms of the thickness, one thing I like about this design and how well thought through it is the blade is thicker at the front and thinner at the back. And that's just to give it a beefier tip for a harder impact, as well as to open up a hole that the back end is going to be able to glide through a little bit easier. So in the front, it's 0.060 inches thick. And then in the back, it goes down to 0.038 inches thick. And then it's also got this center portion that's really raised, and it's hard to see it. Let me unscrew it and show you. Okay, there, you can see it like that. You see that it's not just 2 bleeders on each side, but there's like this ramp going up in between them. You see that? To where the amount of tissue you're displacing is a lot bigger than just what these blades are cutting. And that's going to open up a much bigger hole that's going to be really difficult to close up. And it's what they call, what Annihilator calls, the raised scoop cavitation design. Just like the original Annihilator, it displaces a lot of tissue and creates a vacuum where you get this vacuum or pressure-induced trauma to the medium that it's passing through, to the tissue, that really causes tremendous damage. And so I don't know how measurable that is or quantitative, but I have seen the animals I've taken that, man, it puts them down really fast. And you can see that it's displacing a lot more tissue than if it were just the blades themselves. So really interesting to see that. Now, the cost of these comes out to $28.33 a head. That's for a 3-pack. And you can use Lusk 10, Lusk 10 to save 10% on that, which really is a decent savings. So really look forward to putting this head to the test and seeing how it performs. The katana just clipped the bullseye. It took 143 grams of force to cut through the wire, which is a 10 on a 10-point scale, plus a proportional bonus of 0.57 for being below the threshold of 200. It penetrated a whopping 9.5 inches, which is way above the norm, and it got a really good rotation too. We'll have to test more for that later. And here's a good look at that entrance hole. You see all 6 blades cutting a really nice wound channel there. It only took an additional 7 grams of force to cut through the wire, which is a 9.86 on a 10-point scale, and it's going to get an extra 2-point bonus for both the sharpness and the edge retention being under the threshold of 200. It penetrated through 69 layers, which is a 9.86 on a 10-point scale. It rotated 85 degrees at 12 inches. Sorry, it's impossible to see it. I didn't even realize you couldn't see it due to the curve in this gel, but that is the rotation, 85 degrees at 12 inches. Really impressive. The head is in immaculate condition after the 3 shots through the MDF. Here it is after the 2 shots through the steel plate, and this is such a great representation of what this head is all about. First of all, it's just in perfect condition. After the MDF and these 2 shots through the steel plate, you really can't even tell that the broadhead has been shot other than some cosmetic scratching there. And then next, you see the holes, and these holes are impressive. You see the rotation that you get from a single bevel and kind of that S cut, but then you see it's an extra wide wound channel from those 2 blades on both sides. It's not just kind of a football-shaped hole, but more of a rectangular-shaped hole. Really impressive wound channel that's going to be difficult to close up. Here it is after all the durability testing, and man, it held together so well. And then into the cinder block, my goodness, it penetrated so deeply into the cinder block, and that's kind of a blessing and a curse in this case, because with the rotation that it gets and that depth of penetration, you could see the tip just got a little broken off there, a little bit more of the edge cheddar, and that tip got a little bit slightly broken off. But man, again, really impressive durability. So what'd you think? Man, I tell you what, this is an awesome broadhead. I really like the 100 grain and I really like the 125 grain. Really, they're pretty much equal. There's some little pluses and minuses in each of the areas, and that could be within the human error or the medium error differential within the test mediums that I use. But man, just another winner of a broadhead. And I've used this in the field as well and taken a couple animals with it. I shot a hog like right in the face and went all the way through long ways with my crossbow. And then I shot a nice Texas doll ram and it just zipped right through. I used the 200 grain on a big old Tusker hog. That zipped right through. I mean, these are just incredible broadheads, okay? They're worth a look. And overall, this got one of the highest scores. I mean, I think it almost caught the 100 grain, but like I said, there's just a little differential between the two, but certainly one of the highest scores, I think the second highest or third highest of any head that I've ever tested. So congrats to Annihilator for making such an incredible broadhead. But hey, you check out the score sheet and see how it performed in the areas that matter to you the most and see if this might be a good fit for you. And stay tuned for a summary of the overall scoring of this broadhead and the corresponding Lusk grade. And also stay tuned for a list of all the discount codes that I can offer, like the Annihilator Katana, Lusk 10 saves you 10%, and there's many others in that list just to help you save some money. Hey, thanks for tuning in. Look forward to seeing you next time.